Well, Zach, it's fair to say that you saw a little bit of the footy this year, was down the defensive half a fair bit this year, but you really took all before you and probably put in one of your most consistent seasons for the Carlton Football Club.
Yeah, relatively consistent, I guess. I spent a fair bit of time watching the footy go over my head and between the big sticks, so that wasn't great, but had a few opportunities to try and beat my man and have a bit of an impact in the game, and whilst a lot of results didn't go away, it was nice to to be able to help out when I could, so yeah, it was good.
What do you think was the secret to your success individually this year?
Look, I don't think it's any secret. I had a pretty sort of down year last year. Didn't perform anywhere near as well as I would have liked, and probably got a bit of life balance right. My on-field and off-field kind of. Obviously, I had a kid last year, and I was still learning the ropes as I was playing, and I think that had a bit of an effect on how I played on the weekend. And fortunately for me, I had a partner who was willing to pretty much do all the heavy lifting in season in terms of the feedings and the kind of stuff like that, and that really helped me. So I owe an awful lot of, any good form I had this year, I pretty much owe entirely to her. So I've done very well there off field. So she's Beck's probably been the biggest reason why I've been able to string some consistent footy together. So I owe her probably an awful lot.
Do you pinch your cheeks reflecting on your time in Australia and think, well, you came to Australia as part of an adventure and you were a single man then, and do you reflect now on what has actually happened on the journey so far?
Yeah, single man, bloody good times, eh? Nah, it doesn't seem that long ago. Obviously, I spent a year living with you and your lovely family, and looking back in it, I was probably lucky to be chucked in with you, and given the way I was looked after in your household, and I think that made the transition an awful lot easier, because there were times, probably pre sort of my first year, when I was trying to decide whether or not this would be a good move for me, and being lumped in with a pretty decent kind of family made the transition very easy for me. And once I kind of got into my second and third year and started getting a bit of confidence, it was there's nowhere else I would have rather been. And look, I consider myself, even through the bad times, I consider myself very lucky to play for Carlton. I wouldn't want to play for anybody else. I'm constantly honoured, even on the bad days, to wear a Carlton jumper, and I'll make it my job and my mission to do whatever it takes to get this club back to where it needs to be and be a very small cog in the Carlton machine. So hopefully I can improve again next year.
Do you see yourself as a mentor to the two Kierans these days, Kieran Sheen and Kieran Byrne, and to what extent did Satanta help you in those early days when you came to Carlton?
Yeah, well, anybody who knows me will tell you I'm incredibly wise. I'm just full of wisdom and wisdomness and other kind of wise words. Obviously having Satanta here in the first 2 years was a massive help for me, because to even just to be able to speak to somebody who's come from the same background, to be able to speak about kind of life back home and GAA back home is it's kind of a breakaway from the rigours of professional football. And then to get the two younger boys out here is again, it was a breath of fresh air. I don't think they need very much guidance. They've really impressed me with their professionalism and their kind of appetite, and they haven't really needed me at all, but at any hurdle they have needed me, I hope I have helped them slightly, but again, they're more than capable of forging their own careers and don't really seem to need my help at all.
You're 2 games shy of 100 games wearing the number 42 Guernsey. What will it mean to you to get your name on the number 42 locker with Robert Walls?
It's not something Satanta used to say to me that 100 games is a pretty impressive career, and it seemed a million miles away at the start of my career, and it's kind of just around the corner now. And obviously Robert Walls is a legend of the club, and to have my name on my locker for forever is it's a little bit surreal. It still doesn't quite seem like it's going to happen, even though it's only 2 games away. So fingers crossed I can keep my body right, keep my form good, and I at least get 2 more games in the Navy jumper. And hopefully when it happens, I'm not sure how I'll feel about it, but I've no doubt it's going to be an incredible honour.
Could I ask you, as I've asked the other 2 boys, about first impressions of Brendan Bolton?
Yeah. He's I'm obviously everybody only has good things to say about him, and it's pretty clear why. I've only had a relatively brief chat with Bolts, and his how he views football and the kind of system he wants to set up sounds impressive, and it sounds like a winning formula to me. He's a well-grounded kind of guy, and he seems to understand what makes players tick, and he certainly understands a successful organisation coming from the Hawks. So I'm like the rest of the boys. I'm really excited about what next year's going to hold, and it's very hard not be optimistic about what the club's got coming forward, because we've been down in the dumps a little bit over the last few years, and it's hard to see us not climbing pretty quickly with Bolts in charge.
And a final word to the good people of Portlaoise and your father Noel and mother Mari.
For all the people back in the town, this is it's a huge honour to finish this high in the best and fairest, and I've already touched on how Beck's affected my career, but I guess I owe everything to my parents. Incredibly hard-working people, and I've no doubt I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for them. And so this is very much their accomplishment as much as it is mine. And for everyone back in Portlaoise, I'm on the town.
Well said, Zach. A nice way to leave it. All the very best for 2016 and beyond. Well done tonight. We're very lucky to have you at the Carlton Football Club.
Thanks, Tony. Cheers.